KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
All right, what's it look like in your backyard? Sleet and snow found all over San Antonio. Take a look at this site captured near Helotes. Officer Marcus Trujillo actually sent us this video near Bandera and FM 1660.
And our assistant news director, Mario Oriana, also sending us this video. You see the flakes land on the hood of that car there. It's a sight many were hoping to see tonight. Let's go to meteorologist Adam Caskey with the latest.
Yeah, and this is great because it's not accumulated. It's not going to cause any problems on the roadways, just wet roadways and not white roadways. And more of a wow factor we have for about another hour in parts of our area. Let's take a look at this. Here's a video from Bernie, and this really tells the tale nicely. You see how some of those little chunks are falling slower than others and drifting around more? Those are the snowflakes mixed in with a little bit of sleet and what I think are snow pellets and even some snow grains that we have falling outside. It's a wintry mix out there. Basically, it's kind of like Dippin' Dots just falling from the sky, if you want to put it very basically and simply. Okay, so here's a look at the radar. You see mainly northwest side of town, another nice little batch about to move into Helotes at this time. So Helotes, I know you just had a nice little ting, 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 ting with the sleet and the wintry mix. You'll have another one, another little batch here hit you soon. Where you see the blue, that's where we have that light activity out there. And overall, it's generally some little ice pellets mixed in with snowflakes, even around the New Braunfels area and especially Comal County, just west of I-35 here, you're getting some of that activity. It's melting on contact with the ground, may last a few seconds, but it is melting. So no travel issues here. And kids, yes, you will have school tomorrow. Actually, by midnight, 1 a.m., this is all done and out of here. Sunny tomorrow morning and cold. I'll help you prepare for that. And of course, what's beyond this coming right up.
Thank you, Adam. Now we move to a Defender's investigation. Rideshare drivers forced to use portable toilets that are far from sanitary, sometimes overflowing with human waste. It's happening at one of the area's most popular destinations, the San Antonio International Airport. Our Dylan Collier digs out what's happening in this Defender's report and a warning. Some viewers may find the pictures in this story, well, gross.
Typically, I start in the morning. Usually in the afternoons, the airport's real busy.
This is Michael. On a typical 8-hour day, he'll give between 10 and 12 rides, often to and from San Antonio International Airport. And these are the portable toilets Michael and the other rideshare drivers are expected to use while waiting for their next fare in the city's official rideshare lot. Handwritten notes line the walls, begging whoever is responsible for the toilets to keep them clean. The tanks are often filled to the brim.
It's within 2 or 3 inches of the seat.
Sometimes to the point chemicals and raw sewage spill onto the floor. And what about the urinals?
You know, they're just crusted with yellow urine. People in the jail get better facilities than the rideshare drivers.
Compounding the gross condition of these porta potties is just how often they're used, as this rideshare lot is extremely busy.
Perhaps the city could bring in additional toilets or take a cue from Bergstrom Airport in Austin, which has restrooms in an actual brick and mortar building for drivers there. We would have made both suggestions to San Antonio airport officials, except they refused to sit down with us for this story. An employee at Cortez Liquid Waste Services, which manages the row of porta potties in the lot, said they are currently cleaned 3 times a week, but that she is unaware of any discussions about adding more toilets for the Defenders.
The city can provide better facilities.
Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
A spokesman for San Antonio International Airport said Cortez has been told to increase its servicing of the toilets and will now clean them 4 times a week. In a statement, they go on to say, quote, "Thank you for bringing this issue to our attention. The condition of the portalets was unacceptable, and we acted immediately to correct the issue and hold the vendor accountable for meeting their contractual obligations," end quote. Want to get you some breaking news right now. A report of a carjacking on I-35 and Rittiman.
The night team's Patty Santos tracking it all for us tonight. Patty, what are you learning?
We can tell you this was a very scary scene for the family involved because there was a 2-year-old inside of that car. It started when the driver that stopped at this 7-Eleven that you see behind me, left the 2-year-old inside the car because it's too cold, and police say when she came out, the car was gone. Police searched for about 45 minutes in this area, and they found the vehicle parked right here in front of this restaurant. The child was inside the car. During this investigation, police were also able to determine that there was a suspect right across the street here. I want to draw your attention. Police are still in that area right now. They were able to identify one of the suspects involved in this carjacking. Again, the 2-year-old has been recovered. The vehicle also recovered, and police are working right now on trying to bring charges, if any, tonight. We will continue to bring you more updates as we get them. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Patty Santos reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Patty. Americans leaving the virus zone in China are expected to arrive at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland tomorrow. A town hall was held tonight to inform personnel and families living on base about those arrivals and what happens next. But there is another response plan in place. As the Night Team's Tiffany Huertas reports, the city is taking on the task of monitoring travelers from China to San Antonio.
Concerns over the new coronavirus leading to 2 different plans here at home, one at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland and the other for the city of San Antonio. While the feds will handle what's happening on base, Assistant City Manager Dr. Colleen Bridger is giving us a look at the city side.
We are happy to talk to you about what that looks like.
Travelers coming from China and heading to Texas will have to stop in DFW for a screening. Dr. Bridger, who has also served as the head of the Metro Health Department in the past, says the screening is looking for symptoms or a high risk of developing symptoms for the new coronavirus.
If they are, they will be quarantined there in the DFW area.
If they pass the screening, those travelers will have to provide their contact information and must check in with Metro Health once they arrive here in San Antonio.
We will have their flight number, their name, address, telephone number, etc. We will follow up with them to make sure that they understand what it means to be under self-quarantine.
That means staying home for 14 days and receiving daily check-ins to detect if any symptoms show up.
Coronaviruses have been around in our community for a long time.
Dr. Anita Kurian with Metro Health explains this new coronavirus seems to have evolved from a strain related to a bat. The virus has similar symptoms to the flu, like fever and a cough. Test kits are ready to detect the illness from nasal or oral swabs.
We will be able to have access to those tests within the next couple of weeks for use here in San Antonio.
While there is a plan in place, Dr. Bridger emphasized there have not been any travelers coming in from China, and there are no cases of coronavirus in Bexar County or San Antonio. The handful of confirmed cases are outside of Texas.
The perspective is this: 10,000 people in the United States have died this year from the flu.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
As Dr. Bridger just emphasized, the flu, the greater threat in our area at this point. As for tomorrow's flight and quarantine zone at Lackland, the Department of Health and Human Services says the CDC will meet the plane of passengers and conduct screenings. They will then be quarantined in rooms like this on base. The lodging facility cleared out over the weekend in preparation. Dr. Anita Kurian explained people working at quarantined areas will be using airborne protective equipment like face shields, goggles, gloves, and gowns.
Folks that are being quarantined in these 4 military installations, they are being isolated away from the general population. Their movements are restricted to their living quarters within the installation, and they are being followed up for 14 days to make sure they don't become symptomatic.
The city says it will only become involved in the process at Lackland if a person on base needs transport to a medical facility for further evaluation. The medical need would dictate where that patient would be taken, but specific locations were not made public.
Meantime, let's take a live look outside tonight, showing you a shot of the Alamo. We are getting to see something we don't often see here in San Antonio: snow and ice pellets. And
it seems to be, not a lot coming down, but it is pretty widespread in our area. Adam Caskey has your updated forecast coming up next on the Night Beat.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
In your Border Watch tonight, a U.S. citizen dies after a pursuit with Border Patrol. Agents say it happened in Brackettville yesterday. 5 people were detained, along with 2 U.S. citizens, as the vehicle they were in was heading towards Del Rio. Agents say 32-year-old James Markowitz, a U.S. citizen, was showing signs of distress at the station and was given first aid, but later died at the hospital. He died more than 6 hours after his arrest.
New on the Nightbeat, mailboxes targeted, personal information stolen. People who live in the northeast neighborhood of the Crownwood subdivision say this isn't the first time it's happened. The night team's Stephen Cavazos with the change they're hoping to see.
People who live in the Crownwood subdivision on high alert after learning their mail was stolen. Eric Malsbury joined the neighborhood surveillance team after he and his grandmother had their W-2 stolen this week.
Our main focus is to try and combat the mail theft.
He says he's now left worried.
I do feel vulnerable and concerned, that, somebody could use my name and my social security.
Malsbury says he also feels inconvenienced.
Now I have to drive to go get my mail instead of getting it from my mailbox.
The break-ins happening at different cluster mailboxes around the subdivision about 2 weeks ago.
Now, neighbors say this isn't the first time that these mailboxes have been broken into. They say it's a problem that's been going on for years, and it usually happens during tax season.
We're getting assaulted by petty thieves and criminals who think it's easy prey for them to take our mail.
This longtime resident asked us not to show his face, but says the problem has been going on for years. He says the community mailboxes are more than 30 years old and are easy to pry open.
These modern boxes are much easier to secure, much safer for our people.
Like this one. Neighbors say USPS replaced the mailbox after it was damaged, but says nothing has been done about their current problem.
It's unfortunate, but that's the times we live in. But we need to stop it.
Again, mailbox break-ins that is increase around tax season. And if someone breaks into your mailbox, report it to the Postal Service. The best thing to do is to get your mail daily and don't let it sit overnight. Steve?
Thank you, Stephen. KSAT Community highlighting an event you're not going to want to miss. The lineup of authors for this year's San Antonio Book Festival announced. Writers for children's books to authors of adult novels across the nation and here at home, all a part of this festival.
It's totally free and open to the public. This festival is a gift to the city, and it's a chance for everybody to learn about new ideas.
It'll be happening on April 4th at the Central Library and the Southwest School of Art. There's also a new event to be aware of. It's called Lit Crawl. The night before the festival on the first Friday, there will be a different series of events at the Blue Star Arts Complex. One of those events will involve a competition between authors who will actually perform on stage.
Let's take a live look outside with live cam. 38 degrees out there. We're seeing some snow. We're seeing some ice pellets. It is an exciting night in San Antonio and in the weather department.
Excuse me. Yes, it is. Yeah. It absolutely is. We're seeing that little bit of a wintry mix out there. It's been a while since we've had something like this. And the best part about it, no problems.
Yay.
Just some damp roads. They'll be wet, not white.
Okay.
That's the key. And kids, you'll have school tomorrow morning. So don't get excited about maybe having a snow day. This isn't that type of situation. All right, let's take a look at some great photos that have come in. This is from New Braunfels. And, this looks like snow falling. It's hard to really analyze it without seeing it in motion, but just looking at it there, it looks like more snow flakes than, say, ice pellets. Now, elevated surfaces, such as the swing set there, the slide decks, they get the minor accumulation for a brief period of time. And you can see it's in more of a pellet form there. This is a great photo from San Antonio. And this makes it look more like grapple than anything else that's falling. And I really think we're seeing a mix of grapple and snow pellets out there, along with a few snowflakes. Just little subtleties that are the differences technically between those. But all in all, we're just seeing a little bit of frozen precipitation fall out of the sky. We're starting to get on the tail end of it right now. The blue that you see here is where the radar has analyzed the wintry precipitation. Right now, particularly in parts of Kendall County, and even Kerr County has been seeing it come and go. Canyon Lake, you're about to get hit by a nice little batch of it here. So if you haven't heard it yet, hitting your windows and leaves outside, you're going to hear it very soon in Canyon Lake. This is moving in, and you can hear it. Just that's that ting 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 ting. That's just what you hear with these situations. And even in Medina County here as well. I know we see a little bit of green near Hondo toward D'Hanis. That's what the radar's thinking. Maybe it's rain now. I don't buy that. I think that's still just a frozen wintry precipitation. This is the back edge of it. That's it. What's moving through Hondo? Once it's out of there, it's done. It's all pushing off to the northeast thereafter and coming to an end. I think we've got another, maybe hour of this. Hour and a half within parts of the KSAT 12 viewing area. Then it's done. So let's go through time now with our future cast, and it shows, I think it's overdoing it here at midnight. I think we'll be really far behind this, but hey, maybe another little batch will develop. Probably not. I think by midnight it's going to be over with. Key point, by 1-2 a.m., our sky's clearing. And we'll have nothing but sunshine for tomorrow. But it's going to be cold out there. Take a look at the temperatures for the rest of the evening. So right now we're actually above freezing. And by tomorrow morning, I think we'll be at the freezing point here in San Antonio. Still a little breezy as well. So that wintry mix coming to an end by midnight, probably a little earlier than that. And then we'll clear out. 38 right now at the airport. 37 in Port SA, 36 Randolph. You look at the temperatures and some of you may be thinking, well, how can we have wintry precipitation? It doesn't matter what the temperature is here at the ground. What matters is the temperature above us. And up above us, it supports that wintry mix. And actually, even a snowflake can fall through a layer of above freezing air that's over 1,000 feet before melting. So we can still get it, and that's what we're getting. But with these ground temperatures, no accumulations. It's cold out there, though, mostly in the 30s, still some 40s south of town. Cotulla, for example, at 44. So tomorrow morning, a good chunk of our viewing area at or below freezing, especially along and west of I-35 below freezing, 20s in the hill country. 25 Kerrville, Rock Springs 26 to start your day. Here in San Antonio, 32. Hondo probably 29 in the morning. And by the afternoon, we'll make it into the mid-50s for most of us. Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, you may hit 60, but for the most part, I think we'll be in the mid-50s tomorrow afternoon with a lot of sunshine and still a bit of a breeze. Temperatures rebound quickly. Look at that. Despite a cold morning on Friday, we get back to 70 and sunny into the afternoon and remaining comfortable all the way through the upcoming weekend.
So no snowman.
No snowman. I'm sorry.
You have dashed my winter wonderland.
Or grapple man.
Okay.
None of that.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam.
Something going on traffic-wise, though. This is 410 at Cherry Ridge. Looks like it may be an accident there. This is actually, looks like the overpass over 410. Looks like this might be Cherry Ridge itself. You can see what pavement out there. I don't know that this is necessarily weather-related, but you can see certainly an accident there. At 410 and Cherry Ridge area, traffic is moving, but moving slowly as they get around this accident. You can see down on 410 itself, traffic moving along very smoothly. Looks like they're about to tow that vehicle away that was involved in that accident. All right, Spurs digging themselves a hole, not only to start this road trip, but to rebound this year.
Well, the entire season. And what is it going to take just to get them back to 500? It may surprise you. When we come back, the playoff streak very much in jeopardy now for the silver and black after what happened at least in the first two games of the rodeo road trip. And it's National Signing Day. Look at all those smiling faces. Coming up.
It's exciting, being the first person in my family to go to college, especially my immediate family. I feel like for my family, this is very important to be able to see me do this, sign, and go on to bigger and better things. I feel like that's very important.
That is awesome. Wagner's Joshua Cobb celebrates signing with Wyoming football today as part of National Signing Day in San Antonio and South Texas in big board sports. But first, our San Antonio Spurs struggling to start their 18th rodeo road trip, going 0-2 against the Clippers and then the Lakers in Los Angeles last night. They put up a pretty good fight against the Clippers and, in fact, led LA by 15 points where they were outscored 31-19 in the third. They were still in this game until late in the fourth quarter and fell just by 3, 108-105. It was a totally different story against the Lakers. After LaMarcus Aldridge led the Spurs against the Clippers at 27, he was 0 for 5 in the first half against the Lakers in the second game of back-to-backs. Didn't score his first basket until 5:58 in the third quarter. Still, the Spurs cut the Lakers' double-digit lead down to 9 thanks to DeMar DeRozan's 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists until LeBron James, who scored 36, decided to take off, hitting 5 3-pointers in a row in 3 minutes in the fourth quarter to blow this game wide open and win 129-102, dropping the Spurs to 22-28 on the season. Now, in order just to finish 500 for the season, the Spurs will have to go 19-13 in their final 32 games. It's doable. but not the way they've been playing. The streak of 22 straight playoff runs is now very much in jeopardy. Next up on the rodeo road trip, Portland tomorrow at 9 p.m. Today is National Signing Day, where high school athletes all over the country get to sign on the dotted line where they will be heading to play their college ball with their smiling parents right by their side. KSAT 12 Sports is up early this morning to Brandeis High School to catch Frank Wilson IV join his father as coach at McNeese State. He's been joined there by Austin Garcia, also from the Broncos. Eddie Irizarry signs with UIW for cross country, and Kaya Herrera will play basketball for Casper College. Over at Judson, Xavier Spencer has become part of Jeff Traylor's first recruiting class at UTSA. His Rocket teammates, Angelo Tejeda, signed with UTEP, and both Anthony Shelton and Amari Bailey will play football for UT Permian Basin.
It's a big day. I've waited this moment for all my life. I started playing football in 2006 at the age of 4 or 5. And since then, my dream was to go to college and play D1 football, and it's finally here.
It's really exciting, but I couldn't have done it without my family and the support from my coaches. They've molded me into the player and man that I am today, but it's exciting to be here with my teammates because they deserve as much as I do. So it's very exciting. Today is a very special day.
Big day at Madison High School as Valen Penn signed to play football for UNLV. Darian Gill with Hardin Simmons, as well as Ian Gill. Raymond Jackson will play for A&M Kingsville. Deshaun Higgins will be with Southern Nazarene University. And Leah Hayes signing with UIW softball. Over at South San, Jordan Sturden signed with Hardin Simmons, and Caitlin Ronhell softball for Cisco Junior College.
It's a great feeling knowing that all my hard work finally paid off and that I can finally rest and stop worrying about my recruitment.
I really like the coaching staff there. They're very welcoming, and so is the rest of the team. It's local. It's a really good school. I think I could see myself doing really well there.
I chose Hardin Simmons University because when I went there, it felt like home, and the community feels like home. The people are real genuine people, and I feel like it can elevate my game and I push my academics even further.
All right, for the complete list, just head to KSAT.com. How did Jeff Traylor's first recruiting class round out at UTSA? Next. Jeff Traylor was able to sign 8 new recruits his class of 2020 today in his first year as a new head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners. Today's group joins 9 early signees in December to make up the Roadrunners' 17-member class of 2020.
We signed 5 kids that were in the Dave Campbell Texas Top 300. That's a pretty amazing stat right off the bat. I mean, in the state of Texas, you know, Dave Campbell's magazines kind of knows the football Bible. And to take 5 kids out of the top 300 is exciting.
All right, meantime, over at the University of the Incarnate Word, head coach Eric Morris welcomed 11 new signees to the Cardinals class of 2020. They will join 9 early signees last December to round out that class of 2020.
As far as kids that we have in-house right now coming back from last year, not a ton of juniors and seniors still left on this roster. We've kind of flipped it a little bit. We're still going to be young, but adding, you know, these 5 or 6 junior college players to that mix in a couple spots where we needed some immediate help, yeah, I think we addressed our needs.
The Chiefs held their Super Bowl victory parade today in Kansas City as they celebrated with their fans, ending that 50-year drought. Not even a little cold weather could dampen any of their super spirits along the 2-mile parade route, where head coach Andy Reid promised a return engagement. And Rory McIlroy, the number 2 golfer in the world, has committed to play in the 2020 Valero Texas Open. It'll mark the first time he's been back in San Antonio since 2013 for this year's tournament. It'll be held April the 2nd to the 5th at JW Marriott TPC and Resort Course. That is a huge get, and it just ramped up, I think, the field, because I think others now will join as a result.
Yeah, that's a great name to start off with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.
You know, tonight's weather falling on National Weather Person's Day. Honors all individuals in the field of meteorology, weather forecasting, broadcast meteorology. Here at home, look, KSAT celebrated with some familiar faces. Sarah, Katie, Justin, Mike, and of course, Adam.
That's my favorite shot of all of us.
Best team around.
By far.
Yeah.
And that last little bit of wintry mix is moving out of town, and it's getting out of here, so the fun's coming to an end. And then it's just cold tomorrow morning, right near freezing. 20s in the hill country, and tomorrow only in the 50s in the afternoon. But if you like the warmth, Friday, sunny and 70.
Nice weekend.
That too.
Yeah. That does it for the Nightbeat GMSA at 4:30.
Good night.